Welcome to Liberal BFR, where we put the left on check. Today's reality check. Tucker Carlson destroys the narrative of the January 6th committee. Representatives Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney, and Adam Kinzinger from both sides of the aisle have communicated falsehoods to their constituents related to former President Donald Trump and January 6th. Presenting misleading information to the public can foster negativity, which is why Tucker Carlson exposed videos that would have been hidden for a long time in an effort to give Americans the opportunity to make informed decisions about what actually occurred during the January 6th protest. It takes a certain kind of evil to go after Americans like they have. With the release of new information regarding the events of January 6th, cry-baby Adam Kinzinger and Nancy Pelosi are undoubtedly experiencing distress. Tucker Carlson has presented evidence that many people were not privy to. It sheds light on why so much effort has been put into keeping video footage out of public view. It's clear that this event was much more complex than originally believed. It appears that the narrative of an insurrection being committed by an unarmed protest and selfie session is false. Conservatives value the Second Amendment, leading to a reasonable assumption that carrying firearms would be a part of their plan if an insurrection was truly their goal. Part of the evidence overwhelmingly suggests the protest was mostly peaceful. However, there were bad actors, thought to be affiliated with Antifa or FBI informants such as Ray Epps, that were purposely stirring up a minority portion of the crowd, which led to some disorder. On another side of the Capitol, hundreds of people displayed peaceful behavior within and around its vicinity. Clear evidence supports that the Democrats' statements regarding the events of January 6th were baseless. This appears to be an effort to damage or eliminate the MAGA movement and prevent Donald Trump from running for office again. People like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger irrevocably harmed their political careers by vocally opposing Donald Trump's position on the day's events, a decision which is at odds with reality as we know it. In my opinion, these politicians should face legal ramifications for working to obscure what actually happened rather than standing up for the truth. It's arguably incriminating that knowingly suppressing facts surrounding the day, they tried to sabotage Trump and his affiliates. Nancy Pelosi randomly had a film crew in her office at the Capitol on January 6th, and her son-in-law, Michelle Vos, came over from Europe to film and pose with Jacob Chansley the shaman on the Capitol steps before Capitol Police escorted him through the building. The shaman got 4 years in a federal jail for taking a Capitol Police guided tour.
And at the center of it, the single most famous person arrested that day was a Navy veteran from Arizona called Jacob Chansley, often referred to as the QAnon shaman.
The so-called QAnon shaman.
QAnon shaman.
Someone named Q Shaman.
Jacob Chansley became the face of January 6th, a dangerous conspiracy theorist dressed in outlandish costume who led the violent insurrection to overthrow American democracy. For these crimes, Chansley was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison, far more time than many violent criminals now receive. What did Jacob Chansley do to receive this punishment? To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened once he got inside. Virtually every moment of his time inside the Capitol was caught on tape. The tapes show that Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him. They acted as his tour guides. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us into the building.
Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded on video, some of which has never before been seen, with the depiction of Jacob Chansley that you've seen in the media for more than 2 years. He's a terrorist, they said. He should be killed.
Shoot him. Yeah. Shoot him. Like, you burst into the United States, if he was dressed like bin Laden, would you have shot him?
Shoot him. Shoot him. It makes you wonder who are the violent extremists here? Not Jacob Chansley, and the video proves that. But you would never have known from the media coverage.
The people sitting in the chairs need to be sitting in a jail cell.
Chansley is in a jail cell. He's been there for months. If he was in fact committing such a grave crime, why didn't the officers who were standing right next to him place him under arrest? Until now, no one could even prove that even happened. But it did.
If this doesn't scream setup, I don't know what does. The disparity between punishments provided to those who break the law has been brought into stark focus recently. Conservative individuals are not afforded a fair trial in Washington, D.C., whereas others like BLM and Antifa, who commit offenses such as rioting and arson, are often given minimal or no penalties at all. This clearly demonstrates that our justice system is two-tiered and unjustly favors Democrat offenders over conservatives. Negative actions should be subject to punishment. When particular individuals have egregiously violated the law, they must be held accountable for their transgressions. However, it is concerning that certain individuals remain in jail cells for years without trial or due process. It appears as though some perceived political prisoners are instead being used to demonstrate that one side of the political landscape can unjustly manipulate justice. We must ensure that those who break the law are prosecuted and punished fairly. The rhetoric coming from the left is a clear attempt to force the right into submission. Conservatives are not tolerating being treated unfairly, so the left is resorting to fear tactics such as labeling them enemies of the people. When that didn't work, they took more drastic measures, resulting in the January 6th protest being labeled a violent insurrection. This was an effort to intimidate those who oppose political views in line with those of the left and stop them from questioning their position. Recently, many left-leaning news sources have begun spinning stories in an effort to obscure the truth. As this practice has become more evident, it is clear that these sources are attempting to sway public opinion with disinformation and untruths. It is troubling to see that their tactics still exist and must be called out as such. For conservative Americans, this highlights a deep political divide among the public and calls into question the trustworthiness of news media sources to report truthfully. Is the U.S. becoming China with all its left-wing state-run propaganda? That's all for today. To help support the channel, please comment, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss tomorrow's reality check. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check this one out next.